Hi, I'm Ryan Mallory, and I wanted to introduce you to some information about homelessness and the Bear Creek Trail. In the last week, there's been an effort by citizens to collect letters to send to the Medford City Council members to let them know for their upcoming meeting where they will likely discuss and vote on whether or not there should be camping on the trail. Seems like a lot of people don't want that, so I want to talk about it a little bit. I was curious how bad this problem really was, so I went to Jackson County Scanner Group and I just typed in the words fire and Greenway and came up with quite a bit of stuff. So then I got to thinking, well, is that just an example of what we follow on Jackson County Scanner Group, or does that ring true for other news agencies? It sounded like it was time for a study. I got to thinking about the top local news sources in the Valley and went with these six. You could argue differently than that, but I think it's a pretty good notion. I decided to roll the dice and do a case study on the news agency that was my sixth role, which landed on KOBI TV NBC5. And I also decided to do a little simple sampling on the others to make sure that I wasn't happening across an outlier in the information. Next, I headed over to their website and searched for the word Greenway and collected up all the articles, categorizing them as good news and bad news. This is just a little while of the good news. I think I did 3.5 years total, right around there. And then I started looking at the articles and found multiple arsonists. And I also found multiple dead bodies. And imagine that, we all know I found so many fires, just so darn many fires. It's unbelievable. How this case study was done is published, and you can find that at savethegreenway.com. And I encourage everybody to do their own math. Maybe somebody out there has time to do all probably 20 news agencies in the Valley, or even count all of the articles in Scanner Group. I didn't have time, but I made the data that I did collect available. I watched this stuff pretty closely, and in all honesty, I was surprised and a little bit appalled to see how many bad news stories come out. And that's not the news's problem. That's because there's bad stuff going on the Greenway. 90% bad news, 7% good news, in a total of 70 articles. After that, I hit the other news agencies, scrolled Google a little bit for Greenway and their name, and found that it pretty much followed a trend. Let's face it, folks, the news reports on trends, and the trend is that the Bear Creek Greenway has slid downhill really bad over the last 10 years. At this point, the trail isn't even safe for the homeless people that live there. After having an interview with the organization that helps the most homeless, I would say, Rogue Retreat, who puts hundreds of roofs over heads and helps people off of the trail and knows what kind of bad things happen on the trail. I found out that women are raped regularly on the trail. Elderly people that are living homeless on the trail are beaten. This isn't acceptable. This isn't how we care for those people. The trail being closed is the way to get them to the right care. Another entity that's regularly in contact with people that are homeless and living on the trail, people that are transient, and the criminal faction that happens there, and that is the Medford Police Livability Team. And those are officers that have been set aside specifically to help the homeless and help people find a path. And they're very good at referring to the right places, addiction treatment, mental health, Rogue Retreat, and helping people get off the trail because they know it's dangerous and they know that the citizens definitely aren't getting the use of the trail that was originally intended. I want to encourage you to go to savethegreenway.com, check out the information there. Definitely sign the letter or write your own letter and send it through that system to the Medford City Council, telling them to close the Greenway to camping so that we can get some of these things taken care of in our town and do better. I also encourage you to go to thiefhunterlabs.com or on Facebook and watch or listen to the podcast. It's both video and audio with Justin Hahn and Liz Adams from Rogue Retreat, where we discuss the trail and homeless issues. with an organization that helps the most homeless.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scanner Group Crowdsourced Crime and Safety Podcast with Ryan Mallory and Jared Bannery from ThiefHunter Labs. Make sure to subscribe today for notifications about the next show. Visit us at www.thiefhunterlabs.com or on Facebook as Thief Hunter Labs in the search bar.